evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's over. Yes, it's done. Yes, it's finished. Yes, they're not coming back. Donald Trump has thrown the ultimate D-bomb today. Donald Trump, if you live in the United Kingdom, Donald Trump has thrown the ultimate D-bomb. I'm calling them D-bombs now because it's like a Donald bomb, right? It's like a Donald bomb. Donald Trump threw the ultimate swizzle today, and he said quite clearly, without any hint, prelude, or reservation. Sorry, not hesitation. I guess hesitation would be right. Donald Trump threw it out there that Britain must stand on its own feet. Britain must learn to fight without the Americans. Yeah, I've kind of been telling you guys this is coming for a while. And look, guys, before we get onto this, please just get your stuff in order for next weekend. Before next weekend, actually, take tomorrow as your last day. So whatever preparations you guys need to do, make sure it's all done by tomorrow, by Wednesday, the 1st of April. No, not April. Yes, it is April's Fool's Day, but this is not an April's Fool's gag. I do believe the first footsteps could start on the 2nd. And I know normally I would go with a weekend. Normally I would go with a Friday, but for this particular instance, guys, I'm going with a Thursday. So I'm saying there is a high possibility, there's a high rank of chance that something's going to happen on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th of next month. Now, these are dates that I've been shouting out to you guys for a long time. I've been telling everybody to get ready. What is going to happen, though? There are so many different options, guys. There are so many different options. There's the nuclear option. Yes, the nuclear option. There's people on the internet floating the option that the Israeli military could throw a nuclear weapon into Iran. Unlikely, I feel, but I'm not taking it off the cards. And you guys know why, right? There's the further escalations inland United Kingdom, some sort of mass attack here in the United Kingdom. Unlikely, I think so, yes. I think the most likely event, although I'm not putting myself into a box, I think the most likely event is something happening in Ukraine, because that conflict needs to start again. It needs to happen, and it needs to happen quickly. Right, listen, guys, let me just get on with my, let me just start with my opening monologue, because I do believe right now that the rest of the world, especially the Europeans, and I am a European, I'm British, I'm English, I'm, by the grace of God, indeed. I am British and I am indeed English. Now, I do feel that we have to face whatever is coming in Europe without American muscle. And I think this has been a long time coming as well. And I know there's some people on the, we have some Americans on the chat who are like, this is what happens, Britain. This is what happens when you don't. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been saying this for a long time. But what you've got to understand is the rank and file peoples of the United Kingdom, we're in total agreement with you guys. We need to build our military. We need to become a ferocious, we need to become a terrible idea, something that strikes fear in the heart of our enemies. Unfortunately, right now, we are not that. And I do believe that the Americans are going to leave. The Americans are going to focus in the Middle East. Britain leading Europe is going to lose in Europe. And then we're going to come together and fight the Chinese. That's what I think is going to happen. But let's just focus on the near term. And the near term is this. So, when it feels, when it feels like the ground is shifting beneath your feet in a way that we haven't seen for decades, that's kind of how it feels right now. You can't get diesel. You're struggling to get petrol. Food shortages are imminent. There's a war in the Middle East that's making things worse. And let's not pretend that the war. I'm going to try and not focus on the Middle East as much as I can today. I'm going to be focusing on what's happening here in the United Kingdom and Europe. But you can't help but see if you've got eyes, remember, guys, don't let your ears deceive you. Let your eyes tell you the truth, right? Don't listen to what people are saying. Look at what people are doing. So while British drivers are already feeling the pain at the pumps, diesel averaging well over £1.80 now for a litre, petrol not far behind, something even more serious, sinister is unfolding behind the scenes. DJT, and guys, I will always like what's happening right now. It was always going to happen. Whether it was DJT, Donald James Trump, is it James? I think it's James. DJT, I'll just call him DJT. Whether it's DJT, Hillary Clinton, Obama, what's the other one's name? What's that guy who can't walk? What's the other guy's name who can't walk? What's his name? The other president. He's so insignificant, I don't even know. Anyway, the older one, whatever his name is. Whoever this was, Biden, whoever was in charge, this was always going to happen, right? And I do think Donald Trump is the best option. I do. I'm always going to say this. So you've got all these people coming up there now saying, oh, God, Donald Trump's this, Donald Trump's that. And I'm like, look, I'm convinced that Donald Trump has America first. He's trying to deal with a difficult situation, right? He's trying to deal with a difficult situation. And sometimes when you're dealing with a difficult situation, you have to make a deal with the devil. However, President Trump has been blunt. Some people may say brutal. I think fair in his criticism of NATO. He's called the Allies cowards. Cowards. He's thrown the C-bomb. He has. Donald DJT threw the C-bomb. He's thrown the C-bomb. The C-bomb is out there. The coward bomb is out there, ladies and gentlemen, for not joining the fight in the Middle East. He said the United States no longer needs NATO and warned that America won't be there to help you anymore. Tell your friends where I am, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit those buttons down below. Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, because I said this was coming a long time ago. Everything that's happening right now, I've not been wrong about anything. So Donald Trump's warned that America won't be there to help you anymore. Oh, no, what could that mean? Oh, no, don't worry, there's no wars in Europe. Oh, no, don't worry, the Russians are not about to push through into Estonia. Oh, no, don't worry. If you think things are bad now, give it a month and let's readdress this conversation, right? So in plain English, the transatlantic security blanket that has protected Europe since the Second World War, pretty much over the shoulder, as if you lived in Dover, right? Let's just throw down some potential options, obviously for entertainment purposes, what this could mean. One, first of all, the war in Ukraine is still grinding on into its 12th year. Yes, 12 years, the war in Ukraine, grinding on. Russian forces continue their push in the east towards, towards Europe. Places like Sloviansk, Kramatorsk, they're all being bombarded. While Ukrainian troops do fight back with drones, southern counter moves, at the same time, tensions are simmering on NATO's eastern flank. Estonia, guys. Keep that country in your mind, right? Can you guys remember a couple of years, whatever, I don't know, last year, the year before, when everybody was talking about Donald Trump's going to be a peace president. Donald Trump's going to be the president of peace. He's going to bring out light. We're going to move into broad sunlit uplands. I was like, yeah, let's just accept that that's not going to happen. And I said what's happening now would happen back then. So let's just remember those days, right? Remember when I was talking about Korg Island in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, and nobody could point to it on a map? All of a sudden, right now, everybody's an expert. Everybody's an expert. All these mainstream, we're all experts on it. Very soon, everybody's going to be an expert on Estonia. Everybody's going to be an expert on asymmetric warfare. Everybody's going to be an expert on land pirates. And everybody is going to be an expert on Narva. Very soon that's going to happen, guys. So in specifically, Estonia and the Baltic states, where Russian information campaigns and border incidents keep everyone on edge, if Russia, and I believe they will, decide to push further, which it's almost inevitable at this point, whether deeper into Ukraine or potentially testing a NATO country like Estonia, the consequences will be historic. Think about that, guys. Think about what I'm saying. Think about the words that I'm saying right now, and then put that into context. What I'm saying right now, it's no longer for, well, I guess it is all for entertainment purposes, right? Until it happens, and then I can talk about it in the pretext and say this happened then. But just think about what I've been saying, right? About this movement and the direction of travel. Guns, tanks, bombs, trains, planes, automobiles. This is all happening in real time. Because if Donald Trump follows through with his words and America steps back from its commitment to NATO, some people are saying Article 5. And look, if you've been following me for a while, I've always been the first one to say Article 5 is not worth the paper that it's written on, because it's not. But the Article 5 commitment is the promised. But Sean, an attack on one member state is an attack on all member states. Yeah, it means nothing. Means nothing. Why is NATO not in unison firing missiles at Iran? Because Turkey is a NATO member, and they're always under attack, missile attack by Iran. So NATO, as we know it, the thing that gives everybody the vinegar strokes, all these politicians and all these block room barristers, all these legislatives, all these bureaucrats who think that bits of paper are going to protect them more than guns. You're all in for a big shock. You're all in for a real big shock, ladies and gentlemen, a huge shock. Let me just ask you this question. I've asked this a few times, right? Who do you think's going to win this fight, right? Keir Starmer is in the red corner, right? Keir Starmer's in the blue corner. He's in the blue corner because we all, Keir Starmer loves a bit of blue. Keir Starmer's in the blue corner, right? And he's standing there. And he has the might of 1,000 years of democracy, 1,000 years of law. He has the full weight of international law behind him. And it's all there in what, just for entertainment purposes, it's there in a document, and he's got that document in his hand, right? He's got that document in his hand. And Keir Starmer pretend, you guys think he was a banker. He wasn't. I've heard these chants, Keir Starmer's a banker. He's not. He was a barrister. So he's standing there as the world's most fantastic champion of international law. And he's got all those legislations written down in the book in front of him. And he steps into the ring, right? He steps into the ring, right? Who's gonna oppose him? Yuri from Russia. He's a conscript. He's 17 years old. He hasn't got a clue about international law, but he has an AK-74 and 30 rounds of ammunition. Who's going to win that fight? Nothing else matters now, only what's inside the ring. Who's going to win that fight, guys? Who's going to leave that ring? Keir Starmer, with all the legal backing of all the greatest legal minds the world has ever seen, all the legislative foresight in his little books, or Yuri with his AK-74. Who do you think is going to win that fight? Yeah, you guys know exactly, right? The time for legislative power is over. Kinetic power is all that matters right now, guys, okay? So NATO Article 5, it's done, it's finished, it's over, it ain't coming back. So Europe, led by... There's going to have to be something else, right? It's not going to be NATO. But Europe, led by the United Kingdom, will suddenly face a Russia without the military muscle, air power, logistics, intelligence, satellite capability of the United States. That's where we are heading right now, guys. I'll share with you guys the post, but how many times have I come on this live stream and said that us Europeans are going to have to face the Russians on our own? We're going to have to pull our big boy pants on and deal with this. Well, it turns out that time is very close. It's a sobering thought. It's an absolute sobering thought, guys. It really is. British troops are already stretched thin. We have a procurement system that is farcical at best, hilarious at worst. Yeah, it's either it's just ridiculous. We've just spent, so if you guys want to know how the British troops will be supported by the government, we've just spent 5.5 billion with a B, with a Bravo, 5.5 billion on a vehicle that doesn't work. A vehicle that doesn't work. The Ajax program, right? 5.5 billion. Just for context, right? We're about to send our boys in to face the Russians, right? If anybody's in the military right now and you're watching, please put this in the chat, right? If you're watching and you are military or you know anybody from the military, please either ask them this question, if you can, like WhatsApp them real quick, or if you're in the military, give me the answer. If you're there right now and you're facing down the Russians, do you A, want to have a vehicle that doesn't work, you can't use it, so you're never going to get it, ergo nothing? Or would you rather have £70,000 in your bank? Because that's what it is the equivalent to, guys. 5.5 billion is the equivalent of giving each and every soldier in the army about 70 grand. So what would you rather have, guys? I don't know. Would you rather have nothing or 70 grand in the bank? Right, lads, you're going to go and face the Russians. I could give you this 70 grand each as a little bonus, but no, I'm going to give it to, who built it? Was it, who built it? I can't remember who built it. I should know. It's on the tip of my tongue. My friend works for them. Anyway, would you basically, you're there, you're on the front line. Would you rather have your house paid for or nothing? Or would you rather have the company, I think it's General Dynamics. I'm pretty sure it's General Dynamics. Would you rather have, so you're there as a private soldier, right? You're a private soldier. You've just fixed your bayonet, you're facing down the Russians and somebody comes out, they say, hello, mate, Private Smith, would you rather have £70,000 in your bank, or would you rather General Dynamics, who ain't going to be fixing bayonets, they're going to be sitting in their boardrooms, giving their shareholders a shit ton of money, or would you rather General Dynamics have 5.5 billion? Actually, I'd rather General Dynamics. No, nobody's going to say General Dynamics, right? They're all going to, it's so ridiculous. So British troops are stretched so thin at the moment, guys, and they will find themselves on the front line in a conventional war against Russia with zero American assets to call as support. The cost in blood and treasure and national effort will be unspeakable. Blood and treasure, guys. That's what we're going to pay for this war with. The private soldiers on the front line, the working class of this country, are going to pay in blood and treasure for our government's inability to act. That's ultimately, guys, that's where we are right now. We're going to pay for this with blood and treasure. If any of you guys are, I don't know if any of you, I'll jump onto the chat in a second, guys. If any of you are veterans and went to the war in Iraq, went to the war in Afghanistan, any of the other deployments, one thing that is quite solid and it's quite real, this is why I will never, ever, diddly-dever, say anything negative about the US military, because they've saved me from the candy shop many times when my own government wouldn't come and help. So I'll never, no matter how bad it gets, my loyalties will always be where they are. Anybody who's been to Afghanistan knows they were either involved themselves or they know people directly who were involved in gunfights. And they got on the radio, "Hello, Zero, this is 2-1 Alpha. Air support over," or whatever you say. And the British military would always say no. They would. This is how it would happen, guys. I'm giving you guys straight up. I've got no horse in this race. This is how it would happen. You'd be there on the ground, getting attacked, almost about to be overrun, overwhelming numbers. You get on the radio to call air support, you ain't got none. You get on the radio to call a Kazivac, you ain't got none. You get on the radio to call transport to get you out of there, you ain't got none. Nobody wants to come in and risk the helicopters. And then this would happen. I promise you guys, this would happen, and this is how it would happen. You would say, "Roger, out." So, and then you're just about to tell your blokes, "Yeah, nobody's coming to get us," and your radio would start, and your radio would say something like, "Hello, unknown call sign. This is Night Stalkers 3-1. Send me your location. We'll come and pick you up over." And you're like, "Night Stalkers 3-1. This is 2-4. Say again over." And you would literally have, because the Americans would listen to the British radio, and they'll be like, "Right, we've got guys out there. We ain't leaving them out there." And they would just get on their birds and come out and pick you up, or they would come out and give you air support. So I will never, ever, dilly-dever be negative to the US military and whatever they're doing. It just won't happen. Now, we're already also seeing the economic fallout from what's happening in the Middle East, driving fuel prices up, threatening the cost of living. Can you guys imagine the impact of a direct confrontation on our own continent without the United States by our sides? This is not scaremongering. I'm not looking at the zeitgeist and looking oh God, look what everybody else is saying. No, I've been telling you guys this for 2 years. You know somebody knows what they're talking about because they don't change their mind. We are facing that reality right now, ladies and gentlemen. Britain has always and will always punched above its weight in defence. But that's got nothing to do with our political class. That's got nothing to do with our procurement system. That's to do with the private soldiers on the front line with bayonets fitted. We cannot pretend to replace American muscle overnight. It's just, you can't do that, guys. It's absurd. And I know there's going to be people on the chat now, "Oh, but Sean, Britain did this, Britain did that, Britain did this." Guys, we can only field one ship to go and protect an island in Cyprus. One ship, right? We don't have we don't have that infrastructure anymore. And I get it, I get it. People want to think, "Yeah, right, but we can't." That's the reality, guys. We don't have the equipment, right? We don't have, what we're going to do? Send our men, what we're going to do? Send the guys to swim? You're going to go and swim? Nothing can replace overnight American muscle. I love American muscle, guys. I do. American muscle's fantastic. Do you know what? I'm going to light the barbecue after this. I'm going to light the barbecue in appreciation to American muscle. We're cooked. Those of you guys who've been following me for a while, you guys know 100%. I send lots of letters to the government telling them what's going to happen before it happens. They don't listen. They don't even respond. So that's where we are. Ultimately, private soldiers on the front line are going to pay for the inadequacies of our leadership, and we are all going to pay. Everybody actually in the United Kingdom, except for migrants, because they don't pay anything, right? They get their 3 meals a day, regardless. Every taxpayer in the everybody, do you know what? Actually, I'm just going to throw this out there. Everybody in the United Kingdom is going to pay with blood and treasure. And that's the terrifying future that we are heading towards. Right, guys, I'm going to jump onto the chat, but first I need a wee. I need a massive wee, guys. I do. I need a massive wee. Right. I think is there beef on the chat? I don't know if there's beef on the chat. Conspiracy analyst is saying, I work better after I've had a few. So that brain dead decision to rid themselves of it. I don't even know what that means, but I love it. Googleinos is saying Labour's new fuel finder app is in disarray as drivers told to get petrol in the middle of the sea. Yeah, look, guys, where we live, Sarah went out earlier and she looked so beautiful when she went out as well. She did. She looked so beautiful. She always looks beautiful, but she looked extra beautiful. She went out earlier and she was in her car. Her car's diesel. I told her, I said, don't get a diesel car, but I'm not going to go there. She went out and she couldn't find diesel. She came back and she's like, yeah, Sean, there's no diesel. I'm like, yeah, I said this would happen. So the diesel crisis in the United Kingdom, guys, it's getting worse. And remember, diesel is comparatively aligned to food, right? Because if there's no diesel, there's no transport. If there's no transport, there's no logistics. If there's no logistics, guess what? Your food ain't getting delivered. Get yourself some food security, guys. Right, I'm just jumping up and getting some more questions and comments. Let me get these. You guys have got some fantastic comments. Oh, hang on a minute. Googleinos has got another one saying a massive explosion occurred at a petrochemical plant. Yeah, do you know what? I've seen this. Killing at least 2 people, injuring dozens as Ukrainian steps up strikes on Russian energy infrastructure. So if you guys were watching, if you guys are not watching me right now and you've not liked, followed, commented, subscribed, hit those notifications down below. I'm not even going to ask you to do it anymore. It's your own loss. It really is your own loss if you're not hitting those buttons down below, because I tell you guys what's happening long before it happens, right? Earlier on the live stream, I kind of had like an epiphany moment, and we love epiphany moments. I love epiphany moments. It was this morning. I was doing the splits this morning. I was doing the splits on 2 rocks, right? And I was meditating, looking out of the window. No, I was looking out of the countryside, right? I had 2 logs. I was doing the splits like Van Damme, and I'm meditating, right? And I'm looking out into the countryside. And I had this epiphany moment, right? And the epiphany moment is exactly what Googleinos is saying there. The whole world right now, we are destroying our own energy infrastructure. And that's kind of the worst case scenario that you can possibly imagine. So imagine, if you will, that there was some sort of overlord in charge and they wanted to destroy all the energy structure in the United Kingdom. Well, if you started doing that individually, somebody would say, hang on a minute, why are we destroying our own energy infrastructure? This is ridiculous, right? But if the Ukrainians destroy the Russians and the Russians destroy the Ukrainians, and the Americans destroy the Iranians, and the Iranians destroy all the other countries in the Middle East, then, oh, it's just war, guys, it's just war. But the outcome is still the same, right? Total decimation of our energy structure, energy information. Right, guys, I'm jumping to the bottom. There's so many comments, Rod Panhard is saying, even if this insanity stopped now, it's going to take years to get the... Yes, Rod, you are 100% correct. And people, like most people, like, these people who call themselves journalists, who call themselves free thinkers, who call themselves intellectuals, who are on the TV right now and they're telling, oh, yes, but Donald Trump's going to do this. Oh, the Iranians are going to do this. Oh, but... Literally, like Rod Panhard is saying, there, if everything stops right now and everybody, let's just pretend, right, that tomorrow, April the 1st, right, let's just pretend it's not April the 1st, and tomorrow, everybody, you've got the Israelis and the Iranians and the Americans, they're all singing Kumbaya. They're all around a campfire. They're all saying, yeah, no more wars. What's that move? What's that song? What's that song? Somebody tell me the song I'm thinking of. Handsome Dancer. Handsome Dancer. Is it Handsome Dancer? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like, just imagine, like, the diplomats were talking. They cancelled all the wars. No more. Like, imagine that happened right now. It's going to take 3 to 5 years with unlimited finances, and finances are not unlimited. It's going to take 3 to 5 years minimum to rebuild the infrastructure just to get the oil out. Yeah. So you guys can imagine. Remember when I said when this war first started on the 28th? I said, right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, buckle in because this is going to be 3 years minimum. Right, hang on. Googlino said something there about fertilizer. So I'm sure Googlino said something about... Oh, there he is, look. Hormuz closure cuts global fertilizer exports by half. Yeah. So where do you think that goes, ladies and gentlemen? If fertilizer was already, if things were already bad for farming, where do you think this goes? Now, farmers don't have half the amount of fertilizer. There's going to be famine. There's going to be famine, guys. There's going to be people going without food. For some people, that may be a good thing. Some people, it may not be. Right, listen, guys, I'm screaming for a wee. I totally need a wee right now. Can you guys just wait there for 2 seconds while I go and have a wee? Because I'm dying for a wee. I am absolutely dying for a wee, guys. Hang on. We'll come back. I'll talk about fertilizer. I'll talk about food. It'll literally give me 2 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes, no more. I'm back. No, the aliens didn't get me, guys. The aliens didn't get me. I thwarted them. I thwarted the aliens. There were aliens out there. They were trying to probe me. I said, listen, guys, it's a Friday. What day is it? Is it Friday? No, it's Tuesday. I don't even know. What is it? Tuesday or Monday night? I don't know. Whatever night it is. I said, I'm not being probed tonight. I said, no, I'm not being probed tonight. Raven ain't going to get probed. Yeah, look, guys, as Googliness is quite rightly pointing out there, the closing of the Strait of Hormuz has a lot of knock-on effects. Everybody's talking about, I did this yesterday when I talked about Sky News. Everybody's talking about, because it's the one that you guys can see and you guys can visualize, and it's easy to identify, right? You see these big oil tankers, big ships. Oh, it's got petrol and diesel on it. Yes, which is true. But the downstream ripples for this, that is what's going to hit everybody. So, for example, right now, I can pretty much guarantee that there will be companies and businesses waiting for things to get better. There'll be companies and businesses trying not to close down because they understand, they think that things are going to get better. It ain't going to happen, guys. It really ain't going to happen. Everything from the price of, let's just think about, like, you know, when it comes to like fertilizer, everything now is hitting the food supply. I don't know about you. It's all I've been eating lately. It is, guys. I've only been eating food lately. I have. So you guys think about, I don't know, transport costs for food gone up. Think about the price of, you know, maintaining, running a tractor gone up. Fertilizer gone up. Everything's going up. So guess what? Do you think that your food price, you know, wherever you shop is going to stay the same? No way, Bob. It's all going up beyond belief. Right, I'm jumping to the bottom again, guys. I'm jumping to the... Oh, God, there's loads of comments. There's so many comments. Some at the bottom. Space Cow is saying it's all down here. It's all down here unless the cowards stand up and revolt. I don't think that's going to happen, guys, for a long time. I don't think cowards are going to stand up and revolt because they are cowards. Said coward will not stand up. The problem is, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's so much, although you're right, it is. But I think there's a lot more to that statement than meets the eye. Most people, we're not in this bracket. Most people get up on a Monday, right? 7:30. They're in work by 9. They finished work at 5, back home for 5:30. They sit at the kitchen table, drink a few beers, and look at their phones, right? That's what most people's lives is. They're too scared of someone taking that away from them. That's not living, guys. That's not living. I could argue that is jail. That's like a prison. That is a self-inflicted prison. But the problem is people are so accustomed to the peanuts that they've got. They don't want to try. They're too scared. They're too scared to try anything different. They're too scared to branch out. They're too scared to say, you know what, I'm better than this. And listen, guys, if you're listening to this, you are definitely better, right? You are better and you deserve better and you should get better, all right? You should make yourselves get better and get more, be more. But as Space Cow's saying, it's all down here from now unless the cowards stand up and revolt, which I don't think they will, because people are too worried about their bills, their finances, their, they're too worried about their bills, their finances. It's grim. It's grim when you look at people and they're too scared. Like, I've got a friend and he's too scared to even go out on a protest in case he gets seen by his boss and he gets the sack. Because if he gets the sack, that means his mortgage payments, they can't pay their mortgage. Their car payments, they've got cars on finance, they can't pay them. It means their kids don't get to go X, Y, and Z at the weekend. So he can't afford. He wants the life that he's got to continue because it's peanuts, but you know, at least it's something. People are scared of change. People are massively scared of change. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got a super. Googleinos is saying, forget all the comments. Prioritize the reports. I don't think I can forget all the comments, Googleinos. I mean, lots of people are commenting. How do I okay, so how do I prioritize between reports and comments? Right, Googleinos, send me your comments, your reports, and I'll and if I get, guys, look, there's so much stuff on there. Like, okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna find your comments, Googleinos, right, and watch how long I don't say anything. Right, so I'm literally scrolling up now to try and find Googleinos' comments, right? Watch how long I'm quiet. And that's not good for everybody else, right? Right, so I'm just at your comment now, Googleinos. I'm just at your comment. So I'm going to keep scrolling up now to find the reports. Right, okay, I've got first one, Googleinos, for you. Middle East conflict could cost the region 194 billion. The United Arab Emirates just banned all Iranian from entering the country. Iran's Agachi tells Al Jazeera, we do not have any faith in that negotiation. So basically, all these reports are saying things that we've been talking about for a while on the channel. Hang on, somebody had a good. Who was comment? Hang on, I need to jump down now because I had to go past somebody else's comment. There we are. AJ Aesthetic is saying, Raven, do you think Russians or Iran would take you out for your views? No, not at all. I'm quite confident. I'm quite confident. Nobody's going to, not at all. I'm quite careful. I don't say things that are not already out there on the mainstream media when I'm doing this stuff. And, I don't give away any information anyway. And, I've been out of that loop for so long. I get people send me messages who are still serving military. And I say to them, mate, I can't repeat that because that can only come from one place. So, the Iranians or the Russians will know a lot more than me anyway. What's the reason I give you guys such granular analysis is because I'm out of that sphere now. I'm out of that sphere, but I know how the system works. I know that you've got to look at the footprints. You've got to look at what's, you've got to look at what the what's growing. You've got to look at what's growing through the weeds, and you've got to be able to identify it as well. So, for example, a good one to visualize, right, is remember how. Okay, forget what I've been saying because I've been saying this for a long time. Remember when I started to say, look, this is Donald Trump saying that he's going to leave NATO. And I think it was like this series of maybe 5 or 6 of his little tweets or whatever they are. I said to you guys, I said, look, these are the footsteps. And each one was more and more powerful. Until the one that's, I'll bring it up in a minute, guys. Until the one that he just dropped was like unbelievable. He was just saying that they're going to leave NATO now, and you've got to be able to look because all the information's out there. It's all the information that you got. If you want to know what's coming in the future, all the information's out there. You just need to know what to look for and what to discard. Now, I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm not going to go down aliens, guys. I'm not going to do aliens right now. I'm not going to do aliens. I'll do aliens tomorrow. The real sassafras is saying, I told my son, if they have to go into battle, I want him to leave. He said no, so I can go to jail and ruin the rest of my life. I said, I'd rather go to jail and be alive than go to fight and be unalive. It's really difficult because a lot of people, everybody, right? Everybody who joins the military, right, guys, I can say this with 100% certainty. Everybody who joins the military wants to go and fight. And it's very difficult to understand if you're not in that sphere. What, you want to go away and have drones fired at you and have like crazy people trying to remove parts of your body? Yes, that is exactly why I joined up. So now you've got like that. Let's put this in a different context, right? Do you think anyone joined the fire service because they didn't want to put a fire out? Realistically, does anybody think that? Does anybody know anybody who joined the fire service and they never want? They say, "Oh God, I've joined the fire service because I never want to put a fire out." Or do you think that like there's anybody out there who, I don't know, police officer, right? Do you think anybody joined the police force because they never wanted to arrest anyone? And I get that there's a lot of pent up social markers there, but we'll leave that. Do you think there's anybody who joined the ambulance service who never wanted to deal with a casualty? No, of course not. So this is the problem, right? It's not a problem. It's not a problem. This is the dynamics, right? You have hundreds of millions of young men who want to fight because that's what they want to do. Young men want to fight. That's the reality, guys. That's the way of the world. Excuse me. You get these 100 millions of young men who want to fight. And when they get the opportunity to go and fight, they're like, yep, I'm in, I'm going. Show me where to go. Unfortunately, we are those young men that are going away to fight. They're the best of our society. They're the best that we have. And they're the ones that we want here at home, rebuilding. It's just the system, guys. It's the way it is. Right, I'm jumping to the bottom, guys. Googleino says, oh, hang on a minute. Googleino says something like that. It's gym time for you. Can't be making fun of who's making fun of disabled people that are overweight? Hang on. Who's making fun out of hang on. Sean. What? Right. Cassandra Walker is saying, Sean, windows shot out on a bus in Wakefield. I think that's what she means by wakey, not wakey. I've sent you the report. Right, I'll have to find that. I'll have to find that later because I don't have my phone on me at the moment. Scottish Lass Jack is saying, was Putin waiting for USA to leave? Yes, I believe so. Scottish Lass Jack, absolutely 100%. I've done many live streams on this and I've said this is exactly the case. All these meetings with Putin and Trump, I don't think they were talking about peace deals at all. I think they were divvying up the world, and it makes absolutely makes no sense at all. For Uncle Putin, we love Uncle Putin and his little walk and his little bald. We love Uncle Putin. It makes no sense for him to attack until America has left. So listen, guys, behind those closed doors, if anybody's ever heard this, the saying or the phrase, behind the the corridors of power, the corridors of power. So the corridors of power doesn't refer to government. It doesn't refer to, where people walk. It literally refers to the corridors. Because what happens is, and I've not said this for a while, it's where I used my old job, right? I used to be one of those advisors behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, you get your world leaders. This is why nothing ever changes. It's why the direction of travel is always the same. The direction of travel in the world has always been the same. No matter who the leaders, whether it's Obama or Clinton or Trump or Biden, it's always the same, right? It's always the same direction. Because the corridors of power, right? So the corridors of power. What happens is you get like the world leaders out front, they're front and center, they're having their meeting, they've got like vol-au-vents and they've got like little salmon sandwiches. Behind that door, there's a corridor, right? There's a corridor. There's always a corridor to the door because rooms have corridors, right? And in that corridor, you will have the military attaches, the military aides, the financial, the domestic, everybody from each side, right? So, for example, say Putin and Trump have a meeting, right, in location X. While they're having that meeting in that room, in the corridor just behind them, there will be everybody having the real meeting. There will be like the defense attaché from one side talking to the defense attaché to the other. And they just said, listen, quite candidly, get this shit sorted. So when we talk about corridors of power, this is what it means. And when the meetings between Trump and Putin went ahead, behind the scenes, I would speculate that this was already divvied up. That it was said in those meetings that, right, okay, we are going to go into Iran March 2026. I told you that, guys. So I'm pretty sure the Americans knew. And I'm pretty sure the Russians knew as well. If I knew, everybody else knew, right? So then the Americans would have said, right, okay, by April, we will disown NATO. And the Russians will say, da, конечно, чувак, хорошо. Which means, yes, of course, my friend, very good. I think. If somebody speaks Russian better than me, please, and I've said that wrong, please fact check me. Da, конечно, чувак, хорошо. I think that's right. Anyway, doesn't matter. So then behind those scenes, they'll say, right, okay, by April, the Americans are going to disavow the NATO. So the Americans are not going to, by the 1st of April, tomorrow, the Americans will not help NATO. I would say this happened, guys. I would absolutely 100% say this happened, right? So that means that now the weather's getting warmer, right? And we all know that it's a lot harder to move in boggy ground, right? It's a lot harder to move in boggy ground. So if they don't move now while the ground is relatively firm and it's deteriorating quick, like really, it may even be too late now, but regardless. The next window of opportunity is the summer. So which is why, this is one of the reasons I've been pointing towards the next escalation in Eastern Europe. And it might not be Eastern Europe because I can't identify it. I can't identify and say, right, although it may be. I still think that's the most likely. From the 2nd, 3rd, potentially 4th of April this year. So in response to your question, Scottish Last Jack, yes, absolutely. Right, Donna is saying, Sean, get my comment right. Let me jump up and get Donna's comment. I'm sure it's a beautiful comment. I'm scrolling up now, trying to find Donna's comment. I can't find, right, Donna Prepper, right. Where is it, Donna? Hi, Morrow. Is that your comment, Donna? I'm sure it's not that, right? I'm going to go, oh, there we are. Right. Donna is saying, and it's in capital letters as well. Donna is saying, Sean, my kid's school today, I think, today, did in evacuation procedure showing kids how to hide under their tables and how quickly to get from outside indoors. This is the new world we live in now, guys. It really is. It's the new world we live in where, schools are now becoming crime scenes. And we have a police force that are not willing to we have a police force and a government who are not willing to accept what's coming. As dark as it, I'm not even going to. Do I say what I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, guys. I'm not going to, out of respect for children, right? I'm not going to say what I was just thinking. But it's pretty dark, right? It's pretty dark. Children, it should be like a natural. It should be like a natural out of bounds area, right? But it isn't. It seems like it's a natural. Schools seem like they're a natural soft target. The real sassafras is saying we used to do those nuclear drills in elementary school in the United States in the 70s. Yeah, but now we do the same nuclear lockdown drills, hide under your table and put your hands over your ears in the United Kingdom in case somebody decides to go stabby in the school. And it's going to take a little, guys. What I will say is on this, and I've spoke about this quite a few times. If there is a stabby in the United Kingdom at scale, right, it's going to be at least an hour. It's going to be at least an hour before you get armed police there, guys. It really is. Like, we shouldn't think, we shouldn't think that it's going to take that. We have this image, right? We have this image in our heads because we've all seen the armed response teams in the United Kingdom, and they're great. They're really good. I did a lot of training with I used to train them. I used to train South Wales Police. They used to come to our ranges when we was in the military, and they were great guys. They were fantastic guys, real good guys, solid guys. And the reality is the numbers are too thin. And this was back in like what? God. Well, at the latest, it could have been 2011. So, like, at the latest, that's like, 15 years ago. At the 15 years ago at the earliest. This was anyway. That's my experience. Solid guys, South Wales Police, armed police. It's going to be at least an hour. We've all seen these images of the armed police and the footage of, the armed police turn up and they're really cool and they're being tactically aware. And that's true. But for them to get from point A to point B, especially in a mass event, it's going to be at least an hour because they're going to have to secure that perimeter and make sure nobody else can escape. And unfortunately, it's kind of like it's a necessary evil, right? It's an absolutely necessary evil. They have to have the imagine a submarine, right? It's easier to visualize a submarine, right? Imagine a submarine. You all know that on a submarine hatch, if a submarine's torpedoed or whatever, or there's something happens, everybody has to close the doors, right? You have to close those doors and seal all the compartments for the greater good, right? Because if you don't seal those compartments, the whole thing will sink. It's brutal, but it's for the greater good, right? That's the same thing that happens in the United Kingdom if there's a mass incident, right? They will cordon off the area. They will secure the area, make sure no one else can escape, and then they will methodically clear that area. That's what I don't think people understand that procedure. Right, I'm jumping to the bottom, guys. Is there beef on the chat? I don't know if there's beef on the chat, guys. I think there may be beef on the chat. I don't know what's caused the beef on the chat. Maybe there isn't. Maybe I'm just seeing it. Silly Gallardi is saying, I can't see it as well. I don't know. Maybe she's talking to someone. I don't know. Right. I'm just going to get the last comments here, guys. I'm not a member. I don't. Right. Who's causing trouble? Who's causing trouble? Who's the trouble stirrers on the chat tonight? What's happened? Right, Band Again is saying unless you have 6 to 12 months preps, you will run out eventually. So need to know what wild plants you can eat for the full range of. Do you know what? I keep saying this, don't I? Like not every live stream, but a lot of the live stream, most of the live, not most. I keep saying this. There's like where we live. There's one of those old country. Well, it's not where we live at all. It's about 20 minutes away. I don't know if you guys know. There's a place called. It's about 20 minutes away. It's called Wentworth Woodhouse. And one of the things, it's the biggest house in the country. And one of the things they do on, they do like this foraging day. I think it's on a Sunday actually. They do this foraging day, and you can go. I think it's 50 quid. It's a bit pricey, but you go out in the grounds, and they go around, and they're like, right, you can eat this, you can eat that, you can do this. And they tell you like, and it's like urban, I think it's called urban foraging or something. And I keep saying I'm going to go on it, but it's just not happened yet. So listen, guys, this is a fantastic comment though from Band Again. He's absolutely right. Unless you have 6 to 12 months ready, you really need to start to learn how to like live off the land and what plants you can eat. Right, I'm jumping to the bottom, guys. I'm jumping to the... Oh, hang on a minute. Googling Us has got another report. The USS George Bush aircraft carrier strike group is scheduled to leave Norfolk, Virginia on Tuesday and deploy to the Middle East. Right. We are at that stage, right? We are at that stage where I don't know what I'm seeing, whether it's real or not. But I saw some footage, right? Images of, again, I don't know what's real. Some footage or some imagery of is it Gerald H. Ford or something? Gerald R. Ford, the aircraft carrier, that had a fire in the laundry room and had to leave. I saw some footage, and again, look, guys, I don't know what's real and I don't know what's AI. But I saw some footage, and it had just been absolute. If that was real, that footage, and I don't know whether it was real, but that footage, if it was real, the aircraft carrier had just been absolutely obliterated. Totally taken out of action. Lord of Langworth is saying, chemical factories are easy targets. Chemical tankers on roads. Firemen have no clue about chemicals. Most react with water. What they'll do first? Yeah, the whole situation is we're going from bad to worse, guys. We're going bad to worse. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start to close this live stream down now. You guys have been fantastic and beautiful. I still don't know whether there's beef in the chat, guys. I still don't know whether there's beef in the chat. I don't know whether there's beef in the chat. Oh, hang on. Who said that? Somebody said, there we are. Band Again is saying lots of foraging videos on YouTube, guys. Yes, I agree. But for me, unless I go there and somebody shows me what that actually is, I'm like, oh, I don't really know. Is that a mushroom I can eat? I just don't trust them, because I ask a ton of questions. I'll be like, right, what if the stalk's brown? What if it's wet? What if it's dry? What about this one? And I'll be asking loads of questions. So I would rather be there and get hands-on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are fantastic as always and beautiful. I don't know if there was. I hope there wasn't any beef on the chat. I hope there wasn't any beef on the chat, but if there was, I hope you've sorted it out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, back on tomorrow morning at 10, as I am always. Make sure you're not late. The world's crazy right now, guys. NATO's finished without American muscle. It does look like America are pulling its big muscle out of NATO, and NATO's gone, oh, we've got no American muscle in us anymore. It does look like that's happening, guys, okay? So, I think people need to prepare to fight Russia alone. I need to put a T on that. Give me a second. Let me edit this right now before we go. I'll just forget, because I put O alone, right. fight Russia alone. Nobody corrected me my spelling mistakes. Why not? Right, guys, I'll be back on tomorrow morning. I bid you good evening. Get your barbecues lit because I don't know, man, how many good times you've got. Cherish them while you can. I'll see you in the morning.